Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to be taking a look into my school planner pick for the 25 to 26 school year. So if you're interested to see what we're using and how we're going to be using it, then grab yourself a drink and come and join me. So this is the planner I'm going to be using for the 25 to 26 school year. This is a School Nest planner. It is created by a lady called Megan Van Sype and School Nest. This I purchased off Amazon, and I do need to add that the quality of what you purchase on Amazon is not as good as the quality of the product that you would get from Megan herself. Unfortunately, who does not ship internationally because of the costing. Also, you're limited in your binding. So with Amazon, because with Megan, she does spiral binding and a number of other things. So this is my third year using a School Nest planner. This is a 12-month, 52-week undated. The first year I used their minimal notebook and it didn't have enough for me. The second year I went for a larger notebook and it had far too much for me. And so this year I wanted to try something that is a little bit different. So this has got 52 weeks in. Some of the other planners only have 42 weeks in, so you could use this all round. It doesn't specifically have to be used for home educating. It can be used for your personal planning as well. So let's open up because it's just beautiful. Can we just take a minute first though to admire just how beautiful this is? And again, the only thing I will state is that the paper quality internally is not as high a quality as it would be if you got this from Megan herself. She's reliant on for us here who are purchasing internationally on the Amazon printing. Okay, so let's just open it up into the front page. So one of the things I really like about this planner is the option to be creative inside it. I'm not a skilled drawer at all, but I do really like colouring and I find it to be very therapeutic. And so while I've been doing some training and courses, conferences, I've taken some time to colour in. Now, what I will say is that I have used pencil crayons, and you can see here there's still a small amount of bleed coming through, even with the crayons, not too much. If you used anything stronger than a crayon, it would bleed through. I have had that experience, and so I'm quite happy drawing with pencil crayons. I find that I can blend really nicely with them, and so I'm happy to do that. But yes, so just be mindful when you're if you're purchasing one of these, if you wish to purchase them to be creative, be very mindful about the pens that you're using, because if you're purchasing from Amazon, the quality of paper is inferior to what you would get if you're able to purchase directly from School Nest. So it comes with your little contents page. So this planner has a notes page, a 1-year calendar overview. It's got a 12 undated monthly calendars, 12 monthly planning pages, 12 monthly reflection pages, 5 weeks of weekly scheduling per month, a notes page and an example page. So the front page of my planner I have used for my thoughts for the year. So I am currently in the process of preparing and planning for our school year. And I was thinking about our word for the year, and I've recently completed my training in the fundamentals of classical education, and because we are classical home educators, and I have completed I attended the Memoria Press conference this year, which is our curriculum choice, which I'll follow up with in the next video. And the word that I pulled from that was this word gravitas, and I looked into that word and what it meant and why it would be a powerful word for us to step into our school year. And so that is what I have put in here. So you're free to do whatever you like with this, of course, but this is how I used my page. Then we have our notes pages, which again, I've had a little colour. In here, I've done a daily lesson overview. So this is a list of the lessons we're planning to do. And this schedule has been pulled directly from the second grade curriculum manual that I'm working from. So I've never purchased in a box curriculum before. Again, my following video is going to look into that. I've never purchased box curriculum before. I've never had a teacher's manual before. And so I don't know how long it will take us to work through, but there is a suggested schedule here, which I've taken that based on the lessons we're going to be doing, and I've dropped it in here. Now, again, this is literally just a copy and paste. And the red here is just my notes on the suggested schedule, how this can be intensive, you know, what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow some order, but this page is actually going to reflect the timings of the lessons, the rhythm that we've actually taken. So I'm going to do the reflective, and I think that's really important because for me, I want to take all the amazing things that somebody else has done, like Memoria Press, like other people are putting curriculum together. I want to take their suggestions and then I want to personalize it in our home ed journey. And this reflective practice is really good for me to look at. But this is what it said it was going to do. This is actually how it turned out. And I find that's really helpful in my personal planning process because I can look back and go, well, Cheryl, you thought it was going to take 30 minutes for that. And girl, that took you like 50, or you scheduled 45 minutes for that and you were done within 10 minutes. And so it gives me some idea of how to move forward and how to plan and schedule in the future as well. So then we have our calendar pages. So I've planned out the school year. We are going to be following the public school terms here in the UK. We're home educating in England in the West Midlands, and I have tried to go against the grain. I have tried to educate outside of school terms. I've tried to do 6 weeks on and 1 week off and 4 weeks on and 1 week off, and the problem I found is that it just doesn't work. Because firstly, I work in church, and so lots of events are planned during the term time, and then outside of school terms they take breaks, which is ministries we participate in, volunteering and so forth, Christmas events, family events, church family events. Also, Gabriel is home educated, but is the only person in our family circle that's home educated, which means that when friends and family want to get together, they want to do it during the term breaks, and it's just become, it just became too difficult to go against the grain. And I just thought, let's just work in line with the school terms. It's just going to be easier for the planning all year round. And so we start our school term actually on the 1st of September. Our curriculum for Memoria Press is a 34-week curriculum, and we have 38 teaching weeks, which I'm really glad for because that gives us quite a lot of grace. I've broken it down into colours, so my autumn term, so winter, spring and summer. And I've been able to use my different little colours, which I really like. And just to show, so let's have a look at the bleed. So there is some bleed I want to share with you. So I use these highlighters. These are from the Daily Grind. I also use the mild liners, but these particular ones are from the Daily Grind. I found them to be really good. They have a thicker end and they have a thinner end, and the bleed on them hasn't been too bad, whereas I have used some historically which have been really bad. So if I just share with you, so that's the highlighter pen I'm using, and then the pens I'm using to write in them. So I'm using the Pilot Frixion pens. These are erasable, and so I can drawer, and I found this as a very handy feature to erase, and the bleed through isn't too bad. I'm also using, these are the Papermate Ink Joy pens, and again the bleed is still a little bit more than on the erasable ones, but still I think these have been done without. You can see that the bleed is not too bad, but anything where I'm doing heavier writing like this, I am not using these pens. I'm using these pilot erasable ones. This is a 0.7 tip, and I believe these are the same, 0.7. I have found 0.5 is a little bit too thin for me. 1.0 is too thick, but I really enjoy writing with the 0.7 pens. Okay. And so next, as I continue with this, so I have broken our breaks down so you can see where I've highlighted here. So I've colour coded, so that's our autumn break, Christmas break, winter break, spring break, and summer break. So we're having a week off in October through November. We've got 3 weeks at Christmas, but what I will say here is that we will be doing our study on Christmas. We'll be doing studies on Advent. So although we may not do some of the more formal works, our read alouds and our Christian studies, Bible studies, studies on Christmas, crafts, music, those kind of things, they don't stop for us because they're part of our rhythms and what we wish to be part of our everyday life. So they will not stop for us. We come back in the new year. We've got a week off in February. We have a couple of weeks off in April, a week off in May, and then running through to the end of July, where we have July and August off. And then I've listed how many weeks we've got in each term before we have a break. I've then got my calendar, so my tracking. So I've highlighted my weekends, because we typically don't do school on a weekend. We may do some sort of nature activities, or going to the skateboard park or something similar, but typically we do protect our weekends, and Gabriel really likes knowing that this is the end of the week and he does not have school. He likes to be able to separate and compartmentalize like that. Although he is aware that learning is all the time, we learn necessarily without a workbook and a textbook, and that's what I mean in that separation, that he knows he's learning because we still do read alouds and we still do Bible study, but he's not having to sit and do cursive and things, so it's good for him. So highlighting the weekends, and I've got to continue that throughout the rest of the year. I haven't finished that yet. And then here, where I've done our strike throughs, those correlate with our with our breaks, and it means that I know that this is how many teaching days that we've got. So which is important for me to understand that and to reflect on that, so that obviously I'm making good decisions around how we're using those days. Okay, so one of the features that I like about this notebook, which I haven't liked in previous ones, is that the month and the planning weeks are together. So in the other School Nest planners, in fact in many planners I found, they have 12 months up front. In fact, my catch-all planner is like that, and I can do another video on what my catch-all planner looks like for my overall management of my home and life. The 12 months are up front, and then all the planning pages are behind. And I struggled with that just because I found that I wasn't utilizing these pages well enough. I didn't like having to go backwards and forwards, and so I really like the fact that this is together. My washi tape is coming up here, but so this is the setup. So this here is a printout from 1,000 Hours Outside. So spending more time outside is important to us. That movement is important. The development you know, the development of young people, it's essential that they have enough time outside. However, I am somebody who lives with chronic illness. I have 2 chronic illnesses, and sometimes that is the hardest thing for me to do. And so having it here is a constant reminder for me that this is a priority as part of my planning and scheduling. And so I have just cut out the page and then I put a little bend in it so I can move it out the way. And so I just put some little stickers here from Temu that I purchased, and yeah, it would just be so much easier to have written the days out. In fairness, writing 1, 2, 3 is much easier than pulling and peeling off every sticker. But once I'd started, I liked the aesthetics and I thought, let's just go for it. And again, I did that, I think, when my husband was watching something that I wasn't too interested in, but I was still there in body, while in spirit I was planning. So here I've done the outlay. I am aware of what I needed to schedule for this month. So I know obviously we're going back to school. I know we've got piano. I know he's got ramps, which is a skateboarding. So we've got Latin classes, which are online. These are being run by the Little Latin School in America. So I think it works out about 11 o'clock for them, but it's 4 p.m. for us. And I'll show you why that's okay and why that works. We've got a dance class. This is Our Kingdom Kids. So this is a dance class which is run by a ministry, which is run by a lovely company who support us in church. And our kids will put on a performance at Christmas time. They put on a performance at Easter time. It's a really lovely group for them to attend, and again it gets some physical movement in. My son Gabriel loves to crochet, so on church on a Friday morning we have a group of they are older ladies and one younger gentleman actually that come along, and they crochet, and the wisdom, the blessings, just the connection that my son has with this group, it is just incredible. And they talk to him, he talks to them, and they don't talk to him like he is a child. They talk to him like he is an adult, like he's part of the community, and he benefits from that so much. And so I take advantage of that. So while he is sitting there doing the crochet, because crochet is not my particular skill. Actually, my sister is an amazing crocheter, but I am definitely not. And Gabriel loves to crochet. So I take advantage of that because I work in church. And so I use this time to do some church admin. He's also got choir practice. So he's part of a boys' choir. So we are part of what you would call, I suppose, a charismatic church, where that's our main place of worship, where we go and we serve and I work. But there is an Anglican church, which is a very traditional church setting, big, beautiful building in our town centre, which has a boys' choir. And I really wanted Gabriel to see both our contemporary modern way of worshipping, but I also wanted him to experience the tradition and the beauty that comes with worshipping and praising in a building, which is hundreds of years old as well. I really love those old church buildings, and I love the atmosphere. I love the presence there. I love the reverence, but I also love our church and just the freeness of that. And so we have a balance of both in our homeschool curriculum. So he's going to be singing in the boys' choir there. Okay. And so I will continue to populate that. So I've got some prompts, sort of like play dates and other things to arrange. And then we step into this month. So we've got a layout. So obviously for this month, what I'm looking at is the overview of what we need to schedule and do, because again, as I've mentioned, this is my first time buying in a curriculum start to finish. And so it's a little bit different for me because I'm not working to my own schedule. I'm working to the set lessons within the box, which again, very different for me, but I'm looking forward to that. And I have the video coming up next explains why we made that decision and why we broke away from freelancing it into this year choosing to do something that's a little bit more regimented. And so we have a little page selection box, tick boxes, so you can use it as a to-do list, as goal settings. I think I'll probably change how I use this as we move forward. I've used it for lots of different reasons. I've used it for spelling lists, I've used it for goals, to-dos, planning, you know, just loads of things. But what I have done is for this first week is obviously I'm starting to put in some of the things I know I need to do, but I've also put here in the bottom here just some red flags to remind me that this is the first time that we are going to do something that is so regimented and structured. And from the conference that I did, I put in some red flags that they prepare us for. So if you're spending more than an hour on a subject, if you know your child is crying, if they're going, I'm trying but I'm sorry, I'm trying but I'm sorry, if they are doing sort of really well when you're sitting with them constantly, but as soon as you leave them they feel like really crushed by what's going on, then these are red flags and we need to look at, you know, modifying. My son has global development delay and autism, and so while he is extremely capable, he does have some additional needs that we need to support him with and give him the tools to work through them, and to work confidently despite those challenges that he's facing. And so yeah, just some little highlights and points there. We've got the schedule here, so again, I may change how I use that. You can put a sticker on that, cover over and do something different. You know, if you're going to use this as your own personal planner, you could do meal prep, exercises, anything. This is your to-do list. So many ways that you can use this. Okay, so just to note that in the back of this book, it does give you some guidelines on how to use the layouts, what you could do. Make your own headings, your schedules in here, and then going on. So it does give you, so obviously I'm using it in the way that I'm using it, but you have, you know, freedom to check out those templates or to, you know, just the world is your oyster, so to speak. So I've started with the weekly planning page, and again, this is how it is different because we just refer back. So in a lot of the school planners, they are broken down like this into 7 or 8 categories. And I didn't really want that because sometimes I was like, well, we want to do more or we want to do less, or like what are the timings I put in here? I wanted something that flowed a little bit better. And that also when I had, you know, when we're scheduling other things in, you know, we have to take a break sometimes to go for an appointment. Although I try to do it outside, this is life, sometimes it happens, we have to put breaks in there. And I wanted to be able to do that without ruining the flow of the planning day. And so that's how this looks. And so I've highlighted the month, I've highlighted the week at the bottom. We continue to do the same, which I thought was really useful actually, and it didn't have that in the last 2 I've used. So this is a new feature for me in this, which I kind of like because this is then correlating to, again, so this. So I just wanted to flip into this a little bit because this is laid out like so. So it gives you the week, and it gives you the study that you're doing. We have a couple of additional things to add to this. And so really, my thought was, do I need to move them over? I've got them all written here. Like, what am I planning? Because I could just use this for my planning. But I then had to customize this planner because we're working at a different math level. We're going to be doing we're adding in Latin lessons. There's a few other things that we're adding, and I thought, okay, let me see how I go with this, because if I'm finding I don't need this, that crossover, then that's a reflection I can make for next year and just say, this is more than enough. I don't need any more than this. I can just use my basic catch-all to know what I'm doing. But for example, this is a second grade, which in the UK is our grade 3, which works in line with Gabriel, because with his global developmentally, he's been working about 2 years behind. He is moving forward. He is maturing rapidly in so many ways. Actually, it's incredible how they almost seem to be dawdling along at a snail's pace, and then they just fly through certain areas of development. And so what's it means is that, for example, in his maths, he's working at a much higher level than this. And so there's elements from here we won't be using because of the fact that he is more advanced than that. And then just there'll be elements that I take from here, which are not in here, and I can move those over into there. But again, I'll do another video on this. And so this is what this looks like. So this has 8 planning slots, which is more than the other ones because they have 7 and they typically have 7 down the side. So there's more here. So I need to think about reflections, notes, probably timings in here. I could use this just for so many different reasons or ways, which I just don't know yet. Again, we've got to get into the year and see how it plays out. I don't school on Sunday, but then we will be doing choir. He'll be doing the alternate weekends, mornings and then evenings for choir, so that could go in here. And maybe the things I need to plan, prep things for the following week, I just need to get into that and see what I use it. It's a little bit abstract at the moment, if that makes sense. So I need to get into my weeks to figure out how I'm going to use that. And I'll do some more plan with me. My aim was to do a weekly or fortnightly plan with me so that you can see how I continue to use this. And then, yeah, that moves the way through until you get to October, November. And I've just got these little tabs. I can leave a link for those down the side in the description. So laid out the rest of the years like so. So that is an overview of the planning book, the home educating planner that we're going to use this year. Please do, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a like, ask me any questions, and I'll try my best to answer them, and I will of course share the links for this in the description box. Thank you, friends. Bye.